Alright, what is up, guys? So, we are finally doing a ranking video for everything released for Beyblade X so far. I hadn't necessarily planned to do this, but I was testing the UX stuff, and we'll talk about Buster a little bit, but it basically has inspired me to go ahead and do this, because I want to talk about some of the ranking for X, and yeah, so this is going to include everything for that's been released so far. I think there's also some Hasbro stuff in here. I'll rank those based off of aesthetic. There's some recolors. We'll rank those based off aesthetic as well. And I'll kind of break down my ranking for each one. Mine will probably be a little different than other people's as well. So we've got five categories. We've got S, A, B, C, and D. Most of the stuff I'm going to rank off of performance. The stuff that I'm ranking off aesthetic or whatever. Everything I rank, I'll give my opinion on and why I rank it the way that I do. But we got a lot of stuff released. I figured with the UX stuff out now, now's a good time to do it. So if you guys disagree with any of this, that's totally fine. Everybody sort of has their own opinions on what they think is good and what they think isn't good, what they think is cool or looks cool or whatever. So this is just my personal opinion. This is not like, I'm not saying this as like fact, like this is objectively the best or the worst or whatever. So, you know, everybody's got their own opinion. So, first up, we've got the Shark Recolor, the store exclusive. This one is really cool. I like this one. A Shark in general, I think, is pretty good. I would probably, let's put it in A tier for now. We may move it later. Aesthetically, I really like Shark. I think it's cool. The parts are cool. The blade is cool. It's pretty good. So we'll put it in A tier for now. That may get bumped down to B. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave it in B actually for now. And it's mostly because Shark is really. While I think it's really good, it has really good upper. It hits really hard. It also dies pretty fast. So it is sort of like a high risk, high reward type thing. So B tier I think is pretty solid. Drawn Sword. I would probably put this in A tier in terms of attack. I think it's solid. I think it's really good. It's consistent. It's got good stamina. It's got good weight. The parts that come on it are good. A tier, I think. Cobalt Drake. I don't have Cobalt, but I've heard it's good. I know it gets used. Does it belong in A tier? I'm not sure. I'm going to throw it in A tier because I don't have it and I think it looks really cool and I want it. So we're putting it in A tier. It might be B tier. I'm not 100% sure on that. Dronzer. Dronzer probably belongs in D tier. Let's be honest. People have won with it. People have won in tournaments with it, have placed with it. But the issue is it just doesn't weigh enough. The shape even is fine. It being off balance even is fine. It's because it's not so off balance that it dies super fast, but it just doesn't weigh enough. Gold Drawn Sword, A tier. The gold stuff looks great. Gold Hell Scythe, I'll put in A tier as well. Hell Scythe in general, a very good release. It's basically seen use in competitive since it came out. Very good blade. The gold recolor looks very sick. I really like it. Gold Leon Claw, S tier. In terms of aesthetic, okay, the look of it, I'm gonna put it in S tier. In terms of performance, though, Actually, let's come back to Leon Claw. Let's leave Leon Claw for last. The Persona Hell Scythe, I'll also put in A tier. I really like the look of this one. The chip design is one of my favorites for sure. Feather, probably B tier. It's not bad, but it's not as good as Drawn Sword. Kind of similar shape, but doesn't pack the same punch. Another Drawn Sword recolor also we'll put in A tier. Red Drawn Sword, A tier. We'll just stick them together. The recolors, most of the recolors I like. The black drawn sword I don't like as much, so we'll put it kind of like lower. Stock drawn sword we'll put there. We'll put the red one over there. Hell Scythe, another Hell Scythe. The stock red, A tier. Wizard Arrow, probably C tier. So Wizard Arrow has good stamina. It's just very burst prone, and there are blades with better stamina. It's not bad. It's just not that great. Knight Shield, I would probably put in B tier. Let's put Wizard Arrow down there. So Knight Shield is a bit off balanced. It's got, despite that, it's got generally pretty good stamina and it's got good defense. It weighs a decent amount. I would say B tier for Knight Shield. I think this is the Stadium set. I actually like this one better than the stock one. It's a little more like translucent looking. Yellow Hell Scythe, I actually like better than the yellow one, so we'll put that up there. Another Knight Shield, another Wizard Arrow. I guess this is the black drawn sword. Did we get 2 black drawn swords? Or is one of these the tournament prize, the silver one? I think this is the silver tournament prize. This is the bronze one. Another Knight Shield. I like that light blue one a little more than the red one. Let's put that over there. Shark Edge, purple shark. We'll stick that right there. Leon Claw, we're gonna leave till last. Put that down there. Viper Tail. I actually think some people rank this pretty low. I think Viper is B tier. I actually legitimately think Viper Tail is underrated. I think I did a video on Viper Tail on 560 Rush, and it was pretty good. I have not used it in a tournament yet, but other people have, and it's done pretty well for them. So yellow one I don't like as much. Black one also don't like as much. I think the stock color I think looks really good. I should think the blue one I actually might like the best in terms of color. Another drawn sword. I guess we'll just throw it up there. Wizard Arrow. This blue one I think is my favorite actually. Let's do that. Rhino Horn. D tier. People have won with this too. But it's not. Rhino Horn is one of those ones you gotta have some RNG on your side. Like you gotta have some luck. Let's see, Dagger. I will put in A tier. I'm not the biggest fan of Dagger, but it works for people. It's not bad. I just don't particularly care for it. Maybe it's the design or something. I actually don't think it looks that bad. It's just I don't know. It's just kind of one of those releases I'm just like not that hyped for. Rush though, the bit that comes on it is very, very good. So in terms of like release as a whole, this is a very good release. Same thing with Hell Scythe. It comes with taper. Drawn Sword comes with flat. Most of the A tier stuff is pretty good. Let's see what another Knight Shield. Another Shark. Let's put Shark in here. There we go. Chain. Chain is probably. This is tough because I don't really like Chain, but it does well. It performs well. We'll put it. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I don't like it, but I want to put it in A tier. Lance, we'll put in B tier. I don't think Lance is too bad. Phoenix, first S tier. Phoenix is not like a brick wall. You can beat it. In fact, Leon Claw actually beats it pretty consistently in my experience. At the last tournament, it did pretty well against Phoenix Wing. There's a lot of counters to Phoenix Wing, but if you're looking at attack types as a whole, like where you would just rank the attack types, Phoenix is probably the best, if not one of the best. It's very heavy. It's got good stamina. It's good. It's good and it's very good. It's been all over the meta. Another Light Lance, another Wizard Arrow. Purple one I actually really like too. Throw that there. Unicorn, A tier, for sure. I think Unicorn's very good. Does it belong in S tier? I don't think so. Just because you can KO it. You can outspin it. But I do think it belongs in A tier. Sphinx, probably C tier. Not particularly good. I haven't really seen anybody so far really run it competitively. I love the design of it. I love like Egyptian design Beyblades in general. The Egyptian motif, the Sphinx is cool. It looks very cool, but I haven't seen anybody really make a ton of use on it. I've seen a couple people use things on Gear Needle as well, but I haven't seen anybody do really well with it. Shinobi. This might be better than Rhino. In fact, I think it probably will be better than Rhino. But since we don't have it yet, I can't rank it in terms of performance, so we're going to stick it down here with Rhino. I will say I think the chip is dumb. I think it looks awful. We will stick this down with Leon Claw, since this is also based off of the Leon Claw design. Talentera is based off of Viper Tail. I'm going to go ahead and put this one actually... I'm going to put this one up here in B tier as well. Actually, I'm going to put it in C tier. The shape is different. It might actually be better than Viper, but it does look a little less jagged, which I think does Viper some favors in terms of like bursting. I think Viper's pretty good at ratchet contact. But I don't know. This could be better than Viper. It could be worse. So for now, I'll stick it in C tier. Tusk. So Tusk is a Hell Scythe based off of Hell Scythe. The shape's a little different, and I think the weight is a little lighter. So some people did get these and weigh them. So I'm not 100% sure where to put it. I'm going to throw it in B tier because I don't know if it's going to be as good as Hell Scythe. But for now, we'll put it in B tier. Wizard Rod. S tier. Hands down, Wizard Rod is S tier. So really haven't had too many tournaments yet with Wizard Rod, but it is insanely good. The blade is fairly wide, it's fairly heavy, it's got great weight distribution, very balanced, great stamina. 570 ratchet it comes on is good. The DB bit that it comes on is also good. But I did a video recently on Wizard Rod on 560 hex, and it's a monster. It's so good. It outspins like everything. Wizard Rod's definitely S tier. I think these are probably the two, in my opinion, probably the two most dominant Beyblades right now. These are probably going to be the two hardest to deal with. Like I said, you can beat Phoenix pretty easy. In fact, I'd probably put Rod above Phoenix in terms of performance. I actually think this is going to be better than Phoenix overall in general. But we need to see tournament results before we can really say definitively where this is going to sit. In my own testing, I think it's S tier. I think it's top S tier. Hammer. So aesthetically, I want to rank this pretty high because I really like Hammer. I have not been able to find a great combo with the blade that I think does really well. So I don't know how great the blade is going to be. However, the bit Hex is very good, and I think that's going to be a fairly common bit to see competitively. So I'm going to put it in B tier. I'm going to put it in low B tier just because we haven't seen a ton of testing yet. Shark, I think, is probably more effective at attack, and I think Viper actually is too. So bottom B tier for now, just because we haven't seen a ton of testing yet. Night Shield, gold. I really like the gold one. I'm going to put this at the top, actually. I think that's one of the coolest colors. These two are probably my two favorite Night Shields. All right, Lance, another Lance. Throw that down there. Hell Scythe, green one. I actually really like the green one too. I'd probably rank it like this, yeah. Yellow Shark. I actually like Yellow Shark the best. Cheese Shark. Another Wizard Arrow. Look at all these. Look at how many of these got. It's just insane, the number of those. Leon Claw, you're at the end. Okay, Wyvern. probably C tier. It's one of those blades that everybody wants to be good, and everybody wants to figure out a combo that fixes it or makes it good, but it's just not. It's just really not that good, unfortunately. I really like Wyvern. I love the aesthetic. I really wish it was better than it is. It's got a major gap between the ratchet and the blade, makes it burst prone. Stamina is not great. Even on DB, just not that good, unfortunately. So C tier for Wyvern, although I really like the design, and if we were just ranking off aesthetics, I would rank it higher. All right, the last few points of contention. Buster, C tier, maybe even D tier. I think Buster is bad. I've spent the last few days since I got it trying to find combos that make it good. It's not. It's not good, unfortunately. I love the way it looks. I love the design of it. I'm not a Drawn Buster hater. I really like it. I love the design of it, but it's bad. The weight distribution is terrible. I've seen Japanese players try to use 560 to offset the balance. Doesn't work. The 160 doesn't help offset it either. Doesn't matter what ratchet you put on it and what orientation. I've tried them all of them. It doesn't fix it. Stamina is awful. It also, like, the shape of it, the front, this sword part doesn't protrude enough to make good contact for KOs. These outer blades here end up just deflecting most things. So it just doesn't make good contact. It does, like, I think Shark is better. I legitimately think Shark, if you're going to pick a high risk, high reward blade, I would pick Shark over Buster. Because Shark, I think, is more consistent. It's got multiple good contact points. It dies pretty quick, but Buster does too. And it's less likely to make that good contact than I think Shark is. And most of the parts that come on Buster I don't think are particularly good either. I don't think 160 is particularly useful. I've tried it on a few things, including Night Shield, trying to offset unbalanced Beyblades. It doesn't work that well. It's not enough weight to really make a huge difference, unfortunately, so it's not very good. And then the Excel bit, it's just flat with a couple extra teeth, and if anything, I think it makes it more likely to self-KO, and it makes it harder to come off the extreme line straight. You end up coming off at a very sharp angle, and you don't end up hitting anything. So I think most of the parts on the release are not good, and I think the blade is not very good either. In fact, Leon Claw beats it fairly consistently. Now, before people start throwing combos down in the comments or excuses for Buster, I tried, guys. I tried at like string launcher. I tried ripcord launcher because people are like, oh, you're not launching hard enough. You need a ripcord launcher. I tried it. It doesn't, like, the harder you launch, the more likely something is going to happen because it's just more velocity. That applies with anything, though. That same logic applies with Dronzer, with Rhino, with all of it. You can launch harder. Maybe it'll do something. Maybe it'll just self-KO or self-burst or whatever. The problem is it's just not consistent. Can you win with it? Yes. But what's the win rate percentage? Everybody builds combos, and you sit there and you test, or you play with friends or whatever, and it wins a couple times. You're like, oh yeah, this is good. Look how hard it hit. But unless you're actually tracking the win-loss percentage, if it's under 50%, it's not good. So for people that are testing, I encourage you guys, pull up a win-loss calculator and actually track the win-loss percentage against good combos, like top-tier combos, Wizard Rod, Hell Scythe, Unicorn, the good stuff. Test it against it and see how well it does. So I don't know. Maybe other people can make it work. I can't make it work, and I don't like it enough to bend over backwards like I do with Leon Claw. But yeah, that's my rant on Buster. I've tried for days. I just can't get anything that works consistently, because I've been trying to do a combo video for it, because I did one for Rod, which I thought was really good, and then Buster, I just can't. It just doesn't do good. And I was only testing against like 4 combos. I was testing against Wizard Rod on 570 Hex, Hell Scythe 360 Ball, Unicorn 360 Orb, and Night Shield 560 ball. So if you guys want to test against those things with your Buster combos and you get it to do something, feel free. Let me know your win-loss percentage, I guess, in the comments. So that's my thoughts on Buster. Aesthetically, it's one of my favorites. Design-wise, one of my favorites. I just don't think the performance is good, and I don't think the parts that it comes with are very good. All right, Leon Claw, biggest cope spot. Look. Look. Leon Claw looks cool, all right? Design-wise, it's my favorite. It's definitely my favorite of everything released. It looks cool. It reminds me of the White Tigers from Plastic Gen. I love the design of the blade. I like the chip. I think it looks cool. I've also spent probably the most amount of time using Leon Claw than any of these other Beyblades. So it could just be that I'm used to using it and I like understand how to use it to try to maximize its potential. I think Leon Claw's decent. It beats Buster. I'll say that. It beats Buster, it beats Sphinx, it beats Wyvern, it beats Wizard Arrow. I took it to a tournament. It beats Phoenix Wing consistently. It does not do well against Rod, does not do well against Hellscythe, and doesn't do amazing against Shield. It probably does better against Shield than Hellscythe and Wizard, and Unicorn. Unicorn is a not a good matchup. Really, Unicorn, Scythe, and Rod are the three major things. But attack versus attack, Leon Claw does really well. And against some of this other stamina, it can win. It's just not as likely. It's like maybe 50%. Maybe somewhere between 40 and 60% against stamina defense builds, which is not great. But its likelihood of winning against attack combos is much better. And if you guys don't believe me, you can go watch the tournament that I did like last week. It did well. I got to finals with Leon. I ended up losing my first match of finals, but not because of Leon Claw. Leon Claw actually was the most consistent thing that I used at the tournament. So with all that being said, where do we put it? I'm gonna put it in B tier. Why B tier? Because it beats all of this reliably. It beats all of this. And it even beats some of this pretty consistently. It will beat Shark. It'll beat Feather. Viper, it depends on the build. Lance also depends on the build. Hammer, it'll beat. I think this is where, I think it belongs in B tier. I definitely think it's way better than this stuff. It's either B tier or top of C tier. I don't think it belongs down here, and because not only did I do okay at the tournament with it, but other people have won tournaments or placed with Leon Claw at tournaments. So I don't think it belongs down here. I think it's more consistent than all of this, for sure, especially against itself. I think Leon Claw is a fairly good matchup against all of this. So that is my ranking. I'm very curious what you guys think. Now, before you guys start smashing that unlike button, again, this is just my personal preference. This is my own experience. These are experience testing, experience playing with friends or family or at tournaments or whatever. This is just my opinion in terms of my results. So people's results vary. But I think this is solid. I think this is a fairly solid tier list. I'm curious if you guys would change any of this around. Let me know kind of where you would put it. And yeah, I guess that's it. So hit the like for Leon Claw in B tier. Subscribe if you haven't already for future Beyblade content, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.